and extend my warm welcome to two guests who are here with us at this delegation meeting. Mr. Assoc, who is a member of the House of Representatives of the Parliament of the Federation of BNH, as well as Aisha Bayraktarevich, who is a senior advisor to the Prime Minister of Australia, if I understand correctly, and I don't know at least I was reading the notes here. If I misspelled, I am sorry for that. Now, if we can proceed now with some expedience, can we adopt the agenda if there's no objections? Thank you very much for that. And then we will go to our second item, and that will be the adoption of the minutes of the last delegation. It has been circulated. I see no objections to it, so thank you for that. I will not go to read what we have done in the meantime in order to just go to the third item, and that is that, as I mentioned earlier, we have now to prepare our meeting for the SAPC in Sarajevo next week. Just to remind you that this is part of the 14 priorities that have been put forward to Bosnia and Herzegovina. Actually, it's the third of the 14th priority, so it's important also for Bosnia and Herzegovina that we have regularly this meeting that gives the parliamentary dimension to their accession process, which at this moment, as you know, it's not initiated yet, but they do have the Stabilisation and Association Agreement. Now, on the fourth item, I would like to make a small change in the order. That is our exchange of views on the state of play in the relations between the EU and the BNH. We have three speakers, Mr. David Denti, who is the desk for BNH in DG NS, and our colleague Zuzana Michalkova-Shutiakova, who is always with us, and from the External Action Service, as well as Ivana Maric, the research assistant at the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung in the BNH office, will be joining us, if I'm not mistaken, from Sarajevo. But due to some schedule issues, I would like to ask first Susanna if she can address our delegation now for if possible, no more than 7 minutes, and then if there are questions to her, to do it immediately so that she can proceed with the rest of their schedule. And then we will go with the other speakers. So, Susanna, I don't know whether you hear us. You do?
Good afternoon.
Very well. Please.
I hear you very well. I see you as well. And I'm not sure if it is the same on your side in Strasbourg. Very well.
Yeah, we see you and we hear you well, so please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, honourable members of the European Parliament. In the current political context, which is marked by one of the deepest, most serious political crises since the Dayton Peace Agreement, your continued engagement with Bosnia and Herzegovina is highly needed and appreciated. It is an opportunity to pass messages to many political actors on the importance of refocusing on the EU path and implementing the necessary reforms. I will focus my intervention very much on the latest developments, in particular in Republika Srpska. As you must be aware, tensions have remained high since the final guilty verdict against former Republika Srpska President Dodik on 1st of August, entailing a 6-year ban from public office. Dodik was convicted because he refused to implement decisions issued in 2023 by High Representative to Bosnia and Herzegovina, Christian Schmidt. The Central Election Commission subsequently revoked Dodik's mandate as president of the Republika Srpska entity and announced that early presidential elections will be held on the 23rd of November. In reaction, the Republika Srpska National Assembly has adopted a decision calling for a referendum on 25th of October on Dodik's verdict and on the termination of his mandate. If such a referendum was to go ahead, it would mark a serious violation of the constitution of Bosnia-Herzegovina and the rule of law principle more generally, as judicial bodies work independently and their decisions cannot be challenged in the public referenda. Furthermore, Dodik has threatened to organize a second referendum on independence of Republika Srpska, but so far without concrete arrangements. He also said that he will boycott the early presidential elections on 23rd of November. At the same time, he has nominated a new prime minister for Republika Srpska, Savo Minić, even if his own tenure as the president of Republika Srpska has expired. And yesterday, Republika Srpska's appointment of the new prime minister and the government entered into force. It was immediately challenged in the Constitutional Court. Mr. Dodik has said that Republika Srpska would no longer engage on the EU path and made highly disparaging comments on the International High Representative Christian Schmidt. Yesterday, once again, Mr. Dodik has traveled to Moscow to ask Russia's support for his referenda, also suggesting that Russia should use its veto at the UN Security Council on the upcoming annual extension of the EU military operation Althea in Bosnia-Herzegovina. So far, our assessment is that domestic institution and legal framework shows quite some resilience to these challenges to the constitutional order, and we very much privilege, of course, domestic solution to these political issues. All parties, in our opinion, should be strongly encouraged to participate in the upcoming early presidential elections in Republika Srpska on the 23rd of November to ensure Mr. Dodik's peaceful exit from power. And in that context, on the positive side, we have seen some signals from Mr. Dodik's political party, SNSD, which were hinting at the readiness to participate in early elections, which would present, as I said, a possible way out from the current political crisis. Opposition in Republika Srpska is also signaling readiness to participate. A few words on EU Operation Althea. For more than 20 years, EU Operation Althea has played a key role in supporting the authorities of Bosnia-Herzegovina in maintaining safe and secure environment for all its citizens. EUFOR is an essential part of the EU comprehensive approach and comprehensive support to Bosnia-Herzegovina to maintain stability that is required for further progress on the European path. It is a military operation with a mandate to provide deterrence and to ensure compliance with the military provisions of the Dayton Agreement. It does not have a mandate to enforce the rule of law, because this is a matter for local judicial and police authorities to do so. Its mandate it will be subject to an annual extension, as I mentioned, on 31st of October during the Russia presidency of the UN Security Council. And so far, we have not seen any negative signals that they should not be extended. It is our shared strategic interest to keep Bosnia-Herzegovina and wider region stable while wars are raging in our continent and in the neighborhood. If we leave the country alone, the vacuum will soon be filled by the other actors, in particular Russia, as it cultivates close ties with the Republika Srpska entity of Bosnia-Herzegovina. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. And as I suggested, we will have now the opportunity for the members to, if there are some questions, because I understand that you in a couple of minutes, you need to leave. So any questions? Yes, Mr. Bosanac.
Thank you, Chair. Just to clarify the forthcoming referenda, what is the legal status of referenda? And are there any legal thresholds that has to be fulfilled for the referenda to be valid? Okay.
Any other questions for the moment? I will have only one. If there's any additional information about the activities of the Serbian member of the presidency in the United States, where there were some rumors that the issue of Mr. Dodik was discussed there. He is still on the blacklist of sanctions from the United States. So I don't know whether the External Action has any additional information about that, corroborating or just anything that you can enlighten us with about that visit and in connection to the situation of Mr. Dodik.
Thank you. On the second question related to the U.S. Policy or stance, I can only comment that member of the presidency trio, Mrs. Cvijanovic, was in Washington, I believe, last week. We don't have any reports from those meetings that she had in Washington. When it comes to the status of the referendum that should take place on the 25th of October, it was subject to NVA, national veto, and there is no decision yet on that. So it hasn't been challenged yet at the Constitutional Court at this stage, because we are waiting for the termination of the procedure on NVA. And when it comes to the threshold, I have to say that I have to take this question with me and then submit the reply in writing.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are no further questions, I would like to thank, as usual, Zuzana Michalkova-Shutjakova for reaching out and being so patient with us, and again my apologies for the delay in the beginning of our meeting. Thank you again, and now let me then continue with Mr. Davide Denti from the DG Nest on behalf of the European Commission, also for some initial remarks, not more than 7 minutes, and then to have a dialogue with our members of the European Parliament. Mr. Denti.
Many thanks, Mr. Chair, honourable members. First of all, let me address you on behalf of Madame Barbara Cezu-Jimeno, Head of Unit for Bosnia-Herzegovina and Montenegro. She sends her greeting and she regrets not being able to join us today. She's now travelling to Sarajevo, in fact, as tomorrow she will chair the 8th Stabilisation Association Committee. The Commission welcomes the regular continuation of the parliamentary dimension of policy dialogue under the Stabilisation Association Agreement, and as the Chair had mentioned, we had included the issue within the 14 key priorities at the time when this dialogue was blocked. We also welcome the adoption of the European Parliament resolution in July on the 2023 and 24 Commission reports on Bosnia-Herzegovina, and tomorrow, indeed, we will hold the Stabilisation Association Committee with Bosnia-Herzegovina at the level of directors, closing the 8th cycle of technical subcommittees. In July, we commemorated 30 years since the Srebrenica genocide, and in November, we will mark the 30th anniversary of the Dayton Peace Agreement. It is a moment to learn from history and to advocate for a shared future for Bosnia-Herzegovina as a member of the European Union. A year and a half ago, the European Council decided to open accession negotiations with Bosnia-Herzegovina. It was a historic decision, the result of hard work and efforts by Bosnia-Herzegovina and its citizens, who were very clear about the future they want to see. It showed that when there is a will, there is a way. We have seen a few positive steps since, and most recently with the adoption in January of 2 reform laws on data protection and on border control, the signature of the Frontex Status Agreement in June, the ratification of the Eurojust Cooperation Agreement in August, and also the adoption of the Strategy and Action Plan on Integrated Border Management. Yet we have also witnessed renewed challenges, as had been mentioned by my colleague. The EU had clearly condemned the unconstitutional legislation and secessionist activities of the Republika Srpska entity. To remind the constitutional order and state institutions need to be respected by all. We have seen domestic institutions stepping up to the task, and the Constitutional Court of Bosnia-Herzegovina has indeed first suspended and then later in May quashed all legal acts which had been adopted in February by the Republika Srpska Entity Assembly, including the so-called entity law on foreign agents. Following the criminal conviction in appeal of Milorad Dodik and the termination of his mandate as president of the Republika Srpska entity, the EU expects all institutions and political parties to cooperate so that early elections for entity president may take place orderly on 23rd of November on the basis of the state-level election law and the decisions of the Central Election Commission. Bosnia-Herzegovina should return to deliver on reforms and advance towards EU accession. The country cannot afford to lose more time until after the next elections of October 2026. We expect all pro-EU political actors to join forces and deliver on the EU path, taking all the relevant steps as per the decision of last year of the European Council. This includes legislative reforms to strengthen the judiciary, starting with adopting a new law on the Court of Bosnia-Herzegovina and a new law on the High Judicial and Prosecutorial Council, fully in line with European standards, and appointing an operational chief negotiator to lead the screening process. Delivering on all relevant steps should lead to the opening of accession negotiations and the holding of a long-awaited first intergovernmental conference. These may also pave the way for much-needed governance reforms. To create the necessary conditions, the short-term requirement is the escalation by the Republika Srpska entity. Bosnia-Herzegovina should also finally submit to the Commission its reform agenda. This is crucial for the country not to lose the opportunity of the growth plan for the Western Balkans. The Reform and Growth Facility ends at the end of 2027, at the same time as the EU 7-year budget. This deadline cannot be altered, and the EU has repeatedly warned Bosnia-Herzegovina that time was running out, and that the country could face cuts to its allocation if no action was urgently taken. Given over 1 year of delay, in July the Commission had no other option than to reduce by 10% the indicative allocation envisaged for Bosnia-Herzegovina. We stand ready to regrettably do the same again with a further 10% reduction if the reform agenda is not received by the end of September. We don't want to have to do that again, but there is a cost to inaction. Until Bosnia-Herzegovina submits its reform agenda, the Commission will also not assess any new investment proposal for the country under the Western Balkans Investment Facility. Once we receive it, the Commission will assess Bosnia-Herzegovina's reform agenda in view of agreement and will gather the opinion of Council and Parliament as for all other partners. We continue contacts, both with the Commission services in Brussels and via the EU delegation in Sarajevo, to advocate for progress in this matter. To conclude, Bosnia-Herzegovina has shown in the past that it can deliver when it speaks, acts, and moves forward as one. The timing is in their hands. Progress on the EU path is the best guarantee for stability and prosperity of all. We will take stock of the progress in the past 12 months in the upcoming enlargement package, including the 2025 Commission report on Bosnia-Herzegovina. The Commission will continue supporting Bosnia-Herzegovina's EU accession perspective as a single, united and sovereign country. Many thanks.
Thank you. And may I open now the floor to colleagues for any questions or comments? If not, one from my side. I think that, as you said, Mr. Denti, when there is a political will, B&H can deliver, and we saw it with the agreement on Frontex, with Eurojust, but unfortunately there is no progress in terms of the adoption of the 2 remaining laws that are required for opening the negotiations, as well as the appointment of the chief negotiator. And then the question of the reform agenda for the growth facility, which is still pending. My question would be, there was already a cut of 10% of the allocated money in June. There is a new deadline now for the end of September. How do you set these deadlines? It's on a periodical basis, or it's based on creating just some momentum and then to put pressure on? So if this is missed, this deadline in September, what is next? Again, the same in 2 months' time, or it's a decision that the Commission takes on some other criteria?
Many thanks. Indeed, the original indicative allocation was considered on the period of implementation of the growth plan until 2027. The farther we get close to the end line, the less likely is that Bosnia will be able to draw from that allocation. Hence, to ensure the orderly implementation of the budget, we also need to make sure that the money is allocated where it is likely to be used. We do not want to take money away from Bosnia and Herzegovina. They have still the opportunity to make use of most of it. But as long as, let's say, the longer that we do not receive a reform agenda, that we cannot access it, we cannot agree upon, we cannot get the financing and loan agreements in place, the fewer money Bosnia and Herzegovina will be able to benefit from. This is part of the structure of how the facility is set up. The Commissioner decided to put forward that deadline in June, July, and she decided to give another chance for September. We stand ready to continue to appropriately size the indicative allocation for Bosnia and Herzegovina in line with the time which is left until the end of the multi-annual financial framework in 2027.
Thank you very much for that clarification. I see no other questions, so let me now turn to Madam Ivana Maric. It's my pleasure to invite you now for your introductory remarks, again about 7 minutes, and then to have a dialogue with the members of this delegation. Ms. Maric, are you hearing us? I guess. Do we have some technical problems? Scott? Huh? Well, if we happen to manage to get that connection, then we will come back to that point of the agenda. If not, just let me go to the fifth item of our agenda for today, and that will be the preliminary draft agenda for next week. We already shared that with you on the 14th of July, but of course it's a provisional one. As you can see, the SAPC meeting will take place on the 18th of September, and as usual consists of 2 sessions. The morning session it will be then followed by a joint lunch with the ad hoc delegation of the AFET committee that will be also in the country visiting, if I'm not mistaken, Sarajevo and Banja Luka. So this lunch will be an opportunity to exchange views also with representatives of the civil society and media and academics from B&H. Then we will have a meeting with the collegium of the two houses of the Parliamentary Assembly, the House of Representatives and the House of Peoples, as we had it last year. We will have then the second part of our SAPC, the second session, and then at the end the statements to the press. Finally, the co-chair from the BH side, Mr. Ćosić, will invite us for an official dinner. So the day before, on the 17th of September, we will have numerous meetings in order to update also our understanding of the situation in the country. As usual, we will meet with the EU ambassador, Luigi Soreca. We will have the other EU ambassadors for EU member states in Sarajevo. We will meet with the new head of the OSCE office in Bosnia and Herzegovina, newly appointed. with the EU4 commander, since we also were discussing these issues of the continuation of Altea and these threats that came from Lavrov in this regard. Possibly we will have also, or it's already confirmed with the Constitutional Court. And there are some other meetings that I will not read now because we are still waiting for final confirmation. So any questions about the agenda? Yes, and we have Madam Maric now, so we can go back to that part of our agenda. I don't know if she is hearing us well. Yes. Hello. Yeah,
hello,
now we can see you and hear you. Welcome to our delegation of the European Parliament for Bosnia and Herzegovina. And as I was explaining, after the representatives of the Commission and of the External Action Service, we would like you to present us in about 7 minutes, if possible, your assessment of the current political situation, and after that we will have a dialogue with the members of the delegation. So, Madam Maric, again, welcome. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Chairman, and greetings for all participants from Sarajevo. I will speak as an independent political analyst, and those are only my opinions and my observation because I follow the political situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina for more than 30 years. So I know a bit more than somebody who is here just a few years or observe it from a distance. This is, I don't know which time that Dodik is threatening with referendum. And what we learned in those 20 years in the government of Milorad Dodik is that he is not holding on his threats, that he is always doing what is right, and he is speaking something else. So you don't have to listen what he is speaking, but watching what he is doing. When you see what he has done, he really seldom has broke any law. First time that he done it, he was punished with 1 year of prison and a ban of political activities. So in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we are not afraid of his referendum. This is, I think, 50th referendum that he is threatening. The one that he actually has the courage to have, it was more like a poll for the people, what the people are thinking, because he didn't implement it. So it's just he wants to provoke, first of all, Bosniak, and he wants to provoke a representative of the international community, especially in Bosnia and Herzegovina, with whom he is fighting. So it's actually just a role that he is playing, and everything that he is doing is really in accordance with law, just with provocation. When he denied genocide, he is doing that so that he cannot be punished. And then he said, I feel sympathy with all victims of this horrible crime, but it was not genocide. And it's not, then he cannot be punished. And he knows that, but the publicity doesn't know that. People doesn't know these details that he cannot be actually accused for that. And the similar is now with the government of Republic of Srpska. Nobody knows if he has a mandate to impose to Prime Minister. It's possible that he has a mandate at that time because he didn't receive the decision of an election committee. Nobody asked for that, and he is playing this role. So we have now 4, I think, conclusion to the Constitutional Court, and then he will again see that he was right, that he at that time had a mandate for that, because we cannot just trust one law expert or somebody. We have to lean on really law and constitution of Bosnia and Herzegovina. But he's really the master of playing with the publicity around everything that you think that he is against law and that nobody can harm him, that he is so courageous. And on the end, he doesn't, because he follows all the rules. He implemented all the decision of a high representative. He went to court. He followed the decision of court. Everything that he said that he's not going to do. And that's what we need to know about Dodik. And now he went to Moscow and he sent Cvijanovic to America. This is how he played with all players. He wanted to cover everything, and he wanted to see his position, how can he actually pull himself back, but not to be defeated. So he wanted to lead the politics without be humiliated or as a defeater. So, and that is what probably was the case of discussion in America. The second thing is what we have to have in consideration, that Bosnia and Herzegovina doesn't need so much help as it presents. We can do it a lot, our politicians can do a lot of things together when they want, but they know if they don't agree, High Representative is going to implement, he will going to do that for them, and then they don't have any responsibility for that, and they used to it on those last 30 years. Now they have to learn to make a commitment, to make a compromise with others, not to harm them, not to threat them, not to insult them, and that it's possible. We see an example of HDZ and SDP political party and their coalition on a federation level, and you see that they are actually having a great cooperation, and that they are actually having a lot of results on that level, and that's why we should support those. This kind of cooperation and not just see what Dodik is doing. Okay, you hear me still?
Yeah, we hear you well.
Okay, sorry. And that is what actually I want to say, and you see that it is possible. So you don't have just to say it's nothing possible. We have to help them, and we want to tell you that it's impossible to have an agreement for three sides. And actually, we want to go in the European Union to become member of NATO, and then we will have an agreement with 30. Actually, with 32 members or 27. So we have to learn how to make a compromise. And that's why it's important to leave our politicians to make this agreement, not always get involved and tell them what to do and take responsibility. And that way they can really insult each other, because they know they are not going to have to sit with each other and make this agreement. And there is also one situation between Dodik and Čović. Everybody is talking that Čović is protecting Dodik, but I don't think that it's true. I think that Čović is protecting himself because he can count on Dodik. Because in Bosnia and Herzegovina is often that some representative of peoples are outvoted, and Čović wants actually to not be outvoted of his people, but was a matter of a few times in the past. And that's why he needs to be secure in opposition. And he was talking with opposition from Republic of Srpska, with SDS and BDP, and they gave him this promise that they are going to support him if it's needed, or if to not be outvoted. But they actually didn't follow that. And that's why he said, no, I'm staying in the coalition with Dodik, but he was in 2014 already he left Dodik. It's not that he doesn't want at any time leave Dodik. He left him in 2014. Members of SDS and BDP was in the government. So you have to know that there is a lot of thinking what's happening in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and that Bosnia was earlier always a victim, somebody who has right, whom the international community have to support. Now we, especially SDA political party or DF political party, Željko Komšić, member of presidency, but now you see that actually they become something different, that they see international community as enemies. They call High Representative Nazi, they call him the biggest enemy of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and they actually want to separate everything in Bosnia and Herzegovina on three parts, and everything, all three sides play in this. And it's always just when they say we are for Bosnia, no, everybody is just for their part, for Bosnia, for Croat, and for Serbs. And we have to accept that, because 97% of people on the last census said that they feel as a member of one nationality and one religion, and it's the same percentage. Actually, Catholics are Croat, Muslims are Bosniak, and Orthodox are Serbs. And this is this division that we have, and that actually we want to cover, not to show that it's true, but it is actually when you see a result of this census, and everybody wants his part of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I don't think that any of the side want secession, because when you have your own part, then you are only responsible for everything that's happening at that part, and now they have always excuse. It's not me, I would do a lot for you, but those Serbs or Croat or Bosniaks are not letting me do that. And we have one also important question, and it's about legitimate representatives. And we have actually to respect that people want to be national and religious represented they are also in politics, in all other field of life. And when we have people that falsely said that they are something they are not, and it's really harm for representative of those people. And we don't have it's not good to find excuses for those people and actually let them be on every election something else. On this election I'm Bosniak, on the next election I'm Croat or Serb, because there is no regulation that tell me that, or to tell me that I cannot do that. We have to let people be represented from people from they are represented that really know what their tradition is, they are religious, and not ignore that unless it's happened to my people, and then we are arguing that it's not legitimate representative, and we have it on all three sides. So I think I will close with this, that we need to support those political parties that want to cooperate, to do something for Bosnia, and then you see how it's better in federation, especially in a federal government, when they bring all decisions anonymously, and that it's possible for people, not just from a different nationality, but from different political spectrum, to have a good cooperation in interest of all citizens. Then you see that it's possible if there is a will, and we should support this, and not just always talk about Dodik, who really always follow the laws but pretend to not, so that he can be presented as somebody who is so courageous for his people. Nobody can harm him, he doesn't follow any rules, and actually he is the one who follows the most rules.
Very well. Thank you for your introductory remarks, and I will be opening now the floor for colleagues for questions, comments. Yes, Gordon Bosanac.
Thank you for this picture on current situation in Bosnia. For me, is the question about the atmosphere in Republika Srpska within the ordinary, normal people. Does Dodik, as you explained, he's manipulating and playing these games, but does he still enjoys the supports, not only in the opposition that is weak, but also how is the atmosphere within the people, ordinary people in Republika Srpska? Thank you.
Yeah. I think we can go with we still have time, so we can go with an answer right now, and if there are some other questions, we will take it afterwards.
Yes, good question. I forgot to mention that. Dodik doesn't have this support as 20 years ago when he came to power. At that time, he had more alone. His party has more than 50% of support of people. Now it's every day it's less, but it's still enough for him. But he always have to buy some support from opposition. He needs smaller political party around him. He cannot build a government on his own as it was 20 years ago. The problem is that he doesn't have, in the Republic of Srpska, there is no political that people see as his follower, that he can take this role. Here, unfortunately, in Bosnia, they are searching for politicians who are going to lead them through the war. So they see he has to be really big, to be courageous, to tell another nationality to put them on their place and so on. And we don't have this politician in Republic of Srpska. Draško Stanivukovic has support from Vučić, but sometimes he is something in between. So he has this symbiosis with Dodik, and sometimes he is with opposition. And he said also, I don't know if he would be better for all people than Dodik, because he didn't want to delete this mural to the war criminal Ratko Mladic in Banja Luka. He has said no, it can stay there, although it's not against our criminal law. So Draško Stanivukovic isn't this person. He's not strong enough. In SDS, the biggest opposition party in Republic of Srpska, I think they have a problem, they get a problem and some rebellion within the party after Milan Milicevic, the ex-president, supported students in Serbia. After that, he had some problem and he actually didn't want to be president anymore. Now they are without president before the preliminary election. And there is also some people that want to be there, Ljubiša Marković, some mayors of municipalities in the Republic of Srpska, but they are also doesn't have this enough support to come on the place of Dodik. Within the SNSD, all people draw their power from Dodik. Željka Cvijanović, Nenad Stevanović from another party, or Srđan Amidžić, those all politicians have their power just from Dodik, not their own. Without Dodik, it's all going to fall apart. And that's why it's the problem. And that's why Dodik has still a lot of support within the Serbs. And he became a help from Bosniak part, from populists, from Bosniak party, especially from SDI, Demokratska front, also from Denis Bečirović, from presidency, Željko Komšić, from some politicians that are also getting political points through these national problems, national attacks on other members of other nationality. And they helping him, because when they attack Dodik, then he represents, see, I'm protecting Serb and I want to protect you, and I'm good with that. And unfortunately, people are most actually respect those kind when you fight with another nationality, when you are cooperating with them in interest of citizens. And I think we need somebody who is really strong enough from Serb side, and then we will have really somebody who could be on the place on the Dodik.
Thank you. I don't know whether there's another question. I will have just two quick questions, and then we will need to conclude our meeting afterwards. My first question is actually just if I understood correctly, your assessment is that even if Dodik has been voicing opposition and threatening with referendums, etc., but at the end he always abides with what would be the law. So your assessment is in November we will have elections for a new president of Republika Srpska, and there will be a peaceful transition, whoever will win these elections. So that would be my first question. Is that your assessment? Secondly, you made a point about the ability of politicians to get some consensus and things done, the example at the level of the federation. My question would be, being at 1 year from the next general elections, can we expect this kind of attitude in order to pass the two remaining laws that are necessary to open up the negotiations with the EU? Is this something feasible, or politically we will be so much into the campaign that is not to be expected?
Okay, thank you. I expect really peaceful coming to the new, or who will be new president, elected president of Republic of Srpska. Milorad Dodik really followed all the laws until now, but he has a great law expert around him to give him all some kind of hole that he fill whatever he wants. And he presents something else in publicity. He said, I'm not going to follow the law, and then he's doing that. And the people doesn't know that. They just listen what he is saying to them. And he knows that perception is more important than facts. And he is playing on that. Until now, he mentioned at least 50 times with referendum. He threatened. He only has one. He has implemented, has one, and not implemented it. It was just like, no, we are not going to implement that. It just, we wanted to see what people thinking. And it is going to be the same this time. If he is going to have a referendum, it's not going to be implemented because he doesn't have a possibility to decide about something that it's not within the law of Republic of Srpska. And the same is going to be with the preliminary election. He's tried to have all opposition party to not go to election. And Draško Stanivuković supported him. He said, no, I'm not going to participate. My party is not going to participate. But all other parties said, we are going to election, and it's enough to when people go to election, and it's actually legal. It doesn't matter how many, is it 50% or more or less. So now he knows that he cannot avoid that, and he's going also to be part of that. He's going to have his candidate, and now he's just trying to find the best solution for him. Is it going to be together candidate of all parties, or at least with PDP, that he is somebody who is non-political party member or similar? But he is going to go to this election, and he is going to accept the decision of election, as he accepted the decision about election committee commission that he is not the president of Republic of Srpska anymore. And there he is also playing a role. He wants people to think that he is still a president. That's why he doesn't want to talk about it. He talked that he wants to, probably he's not talking that he is president, but he is acting as a president. And for people in Republic of Srpska, is that enough? He think that he is above the law. He doesn't, they accuse him, they took his mandate, and he's still president. They don't know that he is factually not. But probably he has a mandate at the time when he appointed a new prime minister of the Republic of Srpska. And that's why I think that it's going to be, everything is going to be peaceful, and that's why now he is making agreement with the Americans that he is going to go peacefully, and but not that to be really defeated and humiliated as he deserved.
Very well. Well, thank you very much for that insight, and we will be more than glad to meet you also in some other opportunities. Thank you for your availability. And with that, if there are no other questions, let me just move to any other business. I would just briefly raise two points. One is that we had yesterday in the Parliamentary Association nearby a very interesting conference on the marking the 30th anniversary of Dayton and the future of the country after Dayton, where we had the participation of the Minister of Justice, Mr. Bunoza, talking about the institutional arrangements, the reforms, including the question of the electoral reform according to the rulings of the European Court of Human Rights and the Constitutional Court of BNH. And the second point that I wanted to mention is to express my solidarity, and I think I can do it on behalf of you as well, with one of the members of our SAPC, Mr. Branislav Borenovic, who was attacked. He's doing well now, but he was attacked a few days ago in the streets, if I'm not mistaken, in Banja Luka. So I express our solidarity with him. The seventh item is just the date and place of the next meeting. We will meet, obviously, in Sarajevo next week, and for our next meeting of our European part of the delegation, the Secretariat will inform you at the proper time. So without any other interventions, I conclude now the session, and thank you all for your patience, especially for my delay at the beginning. Thank you.